Hey everyone, this is Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life, and I'm here to do my layout share for October. I have filmed this twice, and my last filming took a half an hour, and I don't want to take that long, so I'm going to go a little faster this time. So this month I was part of the Victoria Marie No Buy group, so all of this is supplies that I've already owned. I haven't bought a single thing this month, and I am going to go into November doing the same. I have enough stuff, and then in December I will start doing a little more shopping. So this layout I did for that group. Hannah Lemieux posted a sketch to do, and I followed the sketch. I really like the sketch. I do not like my layout. It's okay. I love these photos of Jackson, and they're cute, and he's listening to some music, and I really love this photo where he's just like... So I love the photos, and it's one of those layouts where it's basically, hey, it's done, it's going in my album, it tells a story, and I did add some journaling. So that is that one. This is the last layout I actually did this month. I just finished it, I think, yesterday. And it is just some random photos of me through my pregnancy and touching my bump. Sean is so tall that I had to kind of chop off my bump and chop off his head. It's really hard. I was trying to really focus in on my bump here, but it doesn't work with such a tall man. But so this looks all lovey-dovey, and I followed this from an inspiration piece on Pinterest, and I loved the way she had done it. She did it with, it was a white background, so it was kind of like a black and white layout. It was so pretty, but I tried to do it that way. It didn't work for me. I needed color, so I added some, and this is scrap, and this is scrap. This piece right here is the only piece that was a brand new sheet, and not new, like I didn't just buy it, but it was a full 12 by 12, and I did trim it down. So this layout looks all lovey-dovey until you read my journaling that I have hidden here. And my journaling simply talks about the fact that I cannot stand it when strangers or people I didn't know very well touched my bump. It drove me nuts. And so my journaling just kind of talks about that, and how I don't understand why people think that if you're pregnant, you're like a free-for-all to touch. It drove, oh, I hated it. But that's what that layout is talking about. This was done for Get Sketchy episode that I did with Rachel, and there's no title on this one, which is weird. I normally do titles, but what I did get to use was some pieces of ephemera. I probably wouldn't have used it. They've been in my stash for a little bit. I've tried to use them and not working. One of them is this Fun Stuff, which I guess could be the title. And then this camera. I had a hard time because it's so large. I don't do well with large embellishments. And I used up this little squirrel brad that I'm not really sure how else I would use it. It is a photo of me hanging on Tarzan's swing rope in Disneyland. And the journaling just talks about how we took a break all throughout the day, and this was one of the places that it was nice because you could go at your own speed, and with all the hustle and bustle of Disneyland, it's always nice to have a break. This one is for the Obsessed series I'm doing with Caddy. This was the second episode, and the challenge for this one was to use there's an option of 7 frames, and we had to pick 2 of them. So I picked this lovely frame, it says lovely right here, and then this little floral one. And then I did my layout. I know the title seems kind of funny. It should say Alcatraz at Dusk instead of Dusk at Alcatraz. I originally was trying to put my title on my photo, but it was not working. So if you had watched that process video, you would have heard all about that. And I did some stitching, and I kind of messed it up because I forgot to change out my bobbin, so it was white on black, and you can see that, but I'm okay with it. Just a little added interest, I suppose. So there's that one. This is a fun one. I love the bright pink in it. It is about a trip I went to Winthrop, and how, even though I love the little town of Winthrop and being downtown, it's a very small town, but being downtown and being with all the people, my favorite part was to just sit on the back deck and stare at the lake. So, and then I highlighted my feet here with this pink transparency. I drew in the pink with this and this, and then at the end I did some stitchings to kind of highlight pink as well. So, and I finally got to use this. I wasn't sure how to use this pattern paper because we're not really water people. So I was happy to be able to use a piece I wasn't sure how to use in any other way. This is one of my favorite layouts I did this month. This was for the lifted episode for this month. We are now cutting it down to 1 episode a month. And we were inspired by Adele, so Inky Quill. So who isn't inspired by her? And it is basically almost an exact scrap lift, except my colors are different. And so the basis is using these awesome frames. And then I made it interactive because I had a couple more photos I wanted to share and didn't want to do another layout about it. So I just simply did it that way. I used a transparency that I've owned for probably 10 years. So that made me really happy. And I used a couple stickers from a Halloween sticker sheet that I've owned. So I was excited to use that up as well. So I'm pretty happy with this one. It's pretty cute. This is the last layout that is on my channel for this month. This is episode 3 for Obsessed, and it was to use, we had to draw out of a hat a few things, like Caddy picked a few things and I added stencils into the drawing. And luckily enough, I was kind of excited when I did that, I drew stencils, misting, and paper clip. So I just simply took some white paint and added my spray mist in that, and then used a stencil to make my own background. And then I also just spritzed some gold lame, the Heidi Shine, on my page as well. And then my paper clip is right here. So this layout is just, as you can see, it's Jackson's first Easter. And I was able to use, another thing that I've challenged myself this month was to use transparencies. So there's a transparency here that says Sweet Little One. There's the transparency right here of the gold doilies. There is a transparency underneath this first layer, and it's just gold. There's scallops on it, but I couldn't make it work, so there's gold there. There's a transparency here with the circle, and there's a transparency here. So that is 5 transparencies on one layout. I'm so proud of myself. I was also able to use up this wood veneer that I've had and this rub-on. So very happy with getting some supplies used. This is a fantastic layout. I love it. It's so clean and simple and it just makes me happy. What it is talking about is we took Jackson to the ER this summer. He was burning hot and he's our first child, if you didn't know that. And I overreacted a little bit, but he was so hot and I was terrified that I wasn't gonna, like, he just wasn't cooling down. So found out he was fine and it happens and all of that. So I now know not to freak out anymore and whatever, but it was good. We also learned that we were misinformed about how much medication to give him. So because he's such a big boy, he's basically, at this, he was not even 1.5 years yet, and he is basically the size of a 2-year-old to a 2.5-year-old. So we weren't giving him enough medication, like Advil, you know, when they have, or Tylenol when they have a fever. So now we know the correct dose to give him so that it won't happen again. But again, I use another rub-on here, a little J for Jackson. I use a couple of these cool gold foil leaves with color. One of these banners, I love these things. And I used 2 frames here and a piece here that I wouldn't have used this floral piece, I don't think, in any other way. So, but it helped to draw out some of the red. So I'm pretty happy with this one. And this is a layout about my 2 nephews and my niece is also standing here looking into the water. And it's just simply talking about how much they love to be by the water like their mom. And I did a play off of Beach Bums by calling it Lake Bums. And then got my inspiration for this layout from Facebook and one of the lovely ladies that shares her work on both Nicole Jones 911 and Victoria Marie Facebook groups. She posts on both of them. So it was beautiful. I loved it. I got to use up all these triangles that I've kind of been hoarding. So I was excited about that. And also being able to use up this seashell pattern paper. Here is the first episode from the Obsessed series that I'm doing. And I love this. This was so much fun. I did some stitching and some tearing, and this one was based off of a sketch that we had picked out, and it just makes me happy. So this is a photo of myself and Jackson, and then this is me as a baby and my mom. And what I did is I did the top journaling up here, so from here up, talking about how crazy and I wonder what my mom would think of, you know, just about the photos and how crazy it was to be a new mom and all of that. And then my mom actually did her own writing about what her thoughts were and all of that. So I'm not going to read it because it always makes me cry because it's such a sweet little note. But I just love having my mom's handwriting on a scrapbook. And I actually like comparing it because we actually have quite similar handwriting. So that was really neat too. Okay, let's see. Let me move this one for a minute. So this layout, I haven't done the journaling on yet. I just haven't decided what to say, but it's another comparison. So this is me just kissing little Jackson's forehead. He's about a day old. And then this is me as a little girl with a baby doll. And I'm just saying how, you know, I've always wanted to be a mom and now I am, and it's a dream come true. So, but I just haven't decided how I'm going to word it and if I'm going to get really deep into it or be a little less and more happy. I haven't just quite decided how I'm going to rate it yet. So there's that. I was able to use up this chipboard thing that I've had for a while. Also this little tab I've tried to use a few times, so I was happy to get that on. Another brad and a few more of those leaves there. Okay, let's see. I don't want to show this one yet. I'll do that one last. This is a fun layout as well. It's so bright and colorful, and that makes me happy. But this is basically talking about how I found out that I was pregnant with Jackson. So it was a fun story to tell, and it'll be fun to look back on. I did very little embellishment because I just wanted everything to focus on the story. And of course, there's all this bright color here. So I used the Amy Tan sketchbook and the 6x6 pad and just cut some random pieces and laid it out into a pattern that I liked. So it's almost a play off of using, you know, those Project Life cards. It's kind of a play off of that, but using 6x6 instead. Here's another layout I'm really happy with and makes me smile every time I see it. I really like this layout as well. I titled it Explore the Weekend, so I was able to use up another wood veneer. I was rocking out wood veneer this month. It made me happy. And it is just talking about how we went to go to a fall festival, and I was pregnant at this time, and my pregnancy brain was in full swing because the festival was a whole week later. So it's just kind of, I have some hidden journaling just talking about how silly I was, and we still had a great time, but you know, I was being a little silly and I didn't double check my facts. This is also based off of a sketch for the Get Sketchy with Rachel and Christy episodes, and it was more of a condensed sketch that was all based out here, and I just kind of did it like it was blown up and did it that way. And I did a play off of, there was a photo base kind of like this, and I just used this piece that again I've had in my stash for a long time, so I was happy to use that up and did a little play up here with embellishments and then a little bit here as well. So there's that. A pretty simple layout about my little guy carving his first pumpkin. Obviously he didn't carve it, Sean carved it. But this was from last year. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a Project Life page protector style thing right next to it. And every year when I take this photo, which I will take every year, it's just I'm gonna have a 3x4 and just line them up. And that's going to be how I document their carvings in one spot. I probably will do a separate layout, you know, every once in a while, but this keeps me from having, if I don't love the photos, or, you know, whatever, I do not have to scrap carving pumpkins every single year. That's why I'm doing it. I'm saving myself some trouble. And finally, my favorite layout of the entire month. This layout is talking about how I fell in love with Sean and vice versa. We fell in love in 4 dates, and it's a super fun layout. I used up a lot of embellishments and it makes me super happy. And yeah, I love it. So, and I did my journaling, and I originally was gonna have it to the side, but it doesn't match up in my album, so I've just decided to cut it and it just goes right here. And then each photo represents a date that we did. And then I just did a bit of embellishment on each one and used up some of these puffy stickers and another wood veneer and a puffy sticker here. So lots of stuff, used up a tag. And that's that. So thanks everyone so much for watching, and I'll be back again next month with some more videos. Have a great day everyone, and happy Halloween. Bye.